Hey, Nick from Opinionmeter here to talk about locations. Locations are a parameter used when assigning or distributing a survey within the Opinionmeter platform that allow you to do things like location-based reporting and satisfaction alerts. Locations can be used in every modality that we support. That includes online, paper, mobile phone, tablet, as well as iPod Touch. You can choose to assign a single location to a survey or multiple locations. You can even do it by device, so one device could have a single location while another has multiple locations. Same with online, you can choose to distribute your online survey at a single location or multiple locations. So for our demo today, I've gone ahead and just created a simple survey. I'm going to go ahead and click over to the Distribute tab here. This is a multi-mode survey. It's got an online and a device component, so I'll demonstrate both methods. So we'll go ahead and do online first. We're going to hit Distribute Now, and we're going to set it as a public survey. You can use locations in public or private surveys, and we'll go ahead and make it tiny URL and QR code. And the last option we're going to select is down here at the bottom. It's called Identify the Survey's Locations. And when we check this, we'll get a list of all the locations in our account. I'm going to go ahead and pick some stores that I created earlier, so store 1, 2, and 3. And then I'm going to hit Generate URL. What's going to happen is the system is going to generate a separate URL and QR code for each of my locations. So let's say this was a retail survey and I wanted people that had come through my store to take it when they get home later or take it on their mobile phone. I can print a different QR code sticker for each store or a business card with the URL on it and hand it to them. And what will happen is when the users go home to take that survey or they take it on their phone by scanning the QR code, Survey Manager will just know when they came in on this specific URL that they were at store 1, store 2, or store 3. So that is online distribution with multiple locations in a nutshell. Again, you can choose just a single location as well. Now let's go ahead and do devices. So we're going to go over to device distribution. And we're going to go ahead and select my mobile phone from our address book here. And we'll hit Add Selected Contacts. And one thing to note here is if you don't select a location, the system will prompt you and say, hey, if no location is selected, we're going to just assign this to default location. You can hit OK to that if you're not really planning on using locations. Obviously, you do have to pick a location when assigning a survey, but default is, of course, the default option. So if you're just using a single location, you just pick your location from this drop down here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit store 1. Alternately, if you'd like to use multiple locations, you can just check the multiple locations checkbox and again just pick your locations here. Some other options surrounding multiple locations are mark selected locations and search locations. We have some great videos on these functions to briefly sort of explain them. Mark selected locations, when a user has multiple locations on their device, they're presented with a list of them. If the mark selected locations checkbox is checked, and they've used the location previously for that survey, that option will be grayed out on their screen. They can still select it, but it's a good way to let them know, hey, you've already done this survey for this location. That's reset every time the survey is assigned, so you can use that with something like scheduled recurring push notifications for something like, say, a weekly checklist, where you want your users to know, hey, I've already done it for that location this week, and then it just resets every week. Search locations, if you have a long list of locations, this gives your users a quick search field at the top of the list. They can start typing the name of the location and the list will just get shorter as they type. So really useful if you've got like 2-3 dozen locations and somebody doesn't want to have to scroll through the whole list. For this one, I've just got 3 locations, so I'm going to go ahead and hit save. I'm going to send myself a push notification here real quick. And I will now get a push notification on my phone, which I'm going to bring up on my screen via screencasting here. So this is my actual phone. This isn't a simulated device or anything. And you can see I've got the push notification here. So I'm going to hit OK and download my survey. Once it's downloaded, I'm going to hit return to my surveys. And because I picked 3 locations, I've got a options list here for all the locations I can use. If I had selected search locations, there would be an option at the top of my screen to search them. So I can just pick, store 3, and it will jump straight into the survey like any other user. What will happen later is when I'm doing my reporting, I can choose to parse my data by locations. I can compare locations to each other. This is really nice if you are dealing with, say, a lot of branches of stores or doctor's offices and you want each one to be able to view maybe only their data in a report or see how they stack up against each other. So this has been a brief video just outlining locations within Survey Manager. I hope that it's been helpful. Thank you very much for your time and have a fantastic day.